And we're live. Welcome to the Gen 2 Locked Draft League Week 4 matchup look ahead. Today, I am joined by none other than Carter, coach of the Black Death. Hello, Carter.
Hello.
Hello, hello. And I, as always, am Watson. And this season, I'm coach of the Ho-Ohs Horn Dogs. Now, this is going to be a pretty impactful week in terms of the standings and the rankings and just really where things are going to shake out. So I wanted to start this week off doing something a little different. And instead of just going straight to the matchups, I want to talk about the rankings because we are in week 4. We've got 3 weeks under our belt. I'm joined by Odin, my cat. 3 weeks under the belt, which means the rankings are starting to shape up a little bit. You know, we got me up on the top, 3-0. I will be matching up this week versus the Sunny Shore Wakes. Could be an interesting one. I mean, at worst, if I lose, I will be 3-1, which means I could be tied with the Bash, Singing in the Rain, or Cornet Commanders if any of them pick up a win. However, I do believe I have the head-to-head in one of those, and the others could be a bit of a toss-up. So I'm pretty securely up there at number 1. Meanwhile, the Sunny Shore Wakes, wanting to avoid that 1-3 status. Other teams that could be faced with such a record are the Black Death, the Scrambled Egg, and the Sinnoh Kingdras are hoping to achieve that record if they get a win. Could be interesting to see where the Wakes end up if they can manage the 2-2. Now, I think the more interesting matchups are actually some of these other ones. The Umbreons Reunion Bash, they are facing off this week versus, let's see, do you remember who it was, Carter? I'm actually blanking at the
Oh,
moment.
why, it was me, in fact. The Black
Ah,
Death.
perfect. So, this is a very
I've been
spicy
preparing
one.
for this
This is
one.
a very spicy one because the Umbreons Reunion Bash are 2-1 and the Black Death are 1-2. So, opposite records. If the Black Death manage to take that victory, that would put them 2-2 and the Umbreons Reunion Bash 2-2, which would allow the Black Death to win that head-to-head matchup. And you could see the Umbreons are number 2 overall. So, the Black Death are looking at the prospect of shooting pretty far up the rankings there, closer to that number 2 spot. Now, they do lose that head-to-head against the Coronet Commanders, so that could change things a little bit, but a win would put you probably at least around that 3 rank, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, a pretty nice match there.
Creeping
Definitely
my
one to
way up.
look at. Obviously, a victory for the Bash would solidify them at that number 2 slot. So, and push the Black Death a little bit down, potentially. But yeah, very exciting match there. Next one I want to talk about, just in terms of the rankings, we do have Singing in the Rain versus those Coronet Commanders. And so these are 2 teams that are currently evenly matched, fighting for that 3 and 4 slot. Now, Singing in the Rain, their only loss so far is to Ho Horn Dogs up there at the top. So any record where Singing in the Rain is tied, 3-1, they are guaranteed that number 2 slot. So huge opportunity for them to really put themselves at the near the very top, really only defeated by the number 1 team. So I think the Singing Rain have a lot to gain there. And then Coronet Commanders, definitely one of the top contenders just based on the rankings and starting the season out 2-0. They do want this win to keep themselves near that top. Otherwise, they are falling down to 2-2, which could put them in an interesting place. Probably contending with maybe the Bash if they do take that L. And otherwise, they have, luckily, they do have the 1-1 advantage over the Black Death for them. So not probably going to slide too far, but definitely an opportunity for Singing in the Rain. And then our last matchup to look at on this board is the Sinnoh Kingdras versus the Scrambled Egg. Now, these are 2 teams way down at the bottom, basically scrapping it out, trying not to be that number 8 team. And the Kings just have occupied that spot. I believe for this will be the second week in a row. Really want to get their first win. Now they did have, I think, a pretty good showing against myself. The Horn Dogs on top, and so it could be a dicey one for the scrambled egg. Now the scrambled egg, on the other hand, definitely don't want to go to 1-3. Not feeling like a good record. Both teams are going to want this win really badly, even though we're talking about bottom teams. I think I don't think either team feels like they should be, counting themselves out. Definitely still a lot of season to go. But, yeah, should be a scrappy one.
I don't know if you're streaming the other picture. I'm just seeing your Discord right now.
Oh, yeah. That is all we're looking at.
That is all we're looking at. Okay, just making sure. Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty contentious league. It's a lot closer, I think, than Gen 1 was. Like I kind of knew it would be. But yeah, a lot more competitive than Gen 1 was. Yeah, the Sinnoh Kingdras versus Scrambled Egg is going to be a tough one for me, just because, I do want to like root for both of them for different reasons. Like I want the Sinnoh Kingdras to get a win, but also, of course, I'm biased for Scrambled Egg as that is our sister Greenlee.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I would not. I want her to succeed. I don't want her to be number 8. But I hate to see a team never get any wins like that. It's not. I like,
especially because like I think Chris is like, actually trying a lot more than like Nolan was.
Yeah.
I think Chris is employing interesting strategies and stuff. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, taking a game off of me, especially in such a dominating fashion, it's like, there's a lot of potential there with this team, and I gotta say, like, I've played against it. I don't want to see it in playoffs. I really don't want to see it in playoffs. I'd love to not be on that side of the bracket, which, funnily enough, if I stay number 1 and Chris stays number 8, I'll have to see it immediately in playoffs. So, Chris, please win. I don't want to play against you. But yeah, no, I think Chris could definitely definitely can win, and I think even though like 0-3 doesn't really tell the whole story, because there have been some 3-game series, and I think there have been some close ones as well. So, I mean, even I feel similarly about the Wakes, like versus you, is pretty close.
It was close. It was close, especially game 1.
Yeah,
game 2 was less close, but yeah, game 1 was very, very close.
Definitely. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Well, let's talk about the matchups in a little more detail. Move over to the actual Pokemon lists. You will also notice in our first matchup, we have created logos for those teams that didn't take it upon themselves to create logos for themselves. Guess what? You just get one. We're handing them out. You had your opportunity to choose one, and if you want to choose a different one, I'll still let you replace it. Yeah, definitely. You can change.
These are the logos for now.
But these are the logos we have just given you. So, Sing Into the Rain, you got a logo. Coronet Commanders, that logo was created by Luke. But yeah, this is a free logo for Singing in the Rain. So yeah, let's talk about this matchup. So this is a fun one. We got a weather battle on our hands.
Exactly what I was about to say.
And Tyranitar.
The double passive weather setters. It's going to be a matter of who does it better, who does the pivot, who pivots better than the other. And I would say probably the Commanders have shown a history of keeping Tyranitar in the back a lot more than Brian has, or the Singing in the Rain has.
Yeah.
Usually Singing in the Rain tends to lead Politoed, where Coronet Commanders, at least game 1, Coronet Commanders always keeps Tyranitar in the back. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. I'm definitely thinking Skarmory is going to come, but Skarmory is threatened in big part by the Raikou. So Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I wonder like who are the brains? You don't want Houndoom. You definitely want Suicune in the rain. Um, yeah, that's a no-brainer. You probably still do want Skarmory, even though Raikou is here. Skarmory is like your best answer for Nidoking. Pairs well with Tyranitar if you can get that rain out of the way. Um, I mean,
Agreed.
it's not really worried about anything Scizor can do. It doesn't like threaten Scizor for big damage or anything, but you know, you got the body press
Iron Defense Body
for
Press.
neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can get
Um,
a good defensive Terra, because that Raikou is pretty terrifying.
Honestly, maybe you know, I wrote off Houndoom pretty quick, but maybe Houndoom is
Yeah,
pretty important here for dealing with Scizor.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I'll talk. I want to say a couple things. Houndoom was up there. I think this is actually might be where like, I mean it's debatable, right? But I was gonna ask like, I think this might be the matchup where Houndoom has to make its debut because I mean Scizor. This
Yeah,
is your Scizor answer, and here's the
yeah,
thing. I also think like just overall, if I'm looking at like there's a weather battle, that's one thing. But I think matchup wise, this is pretty unfavorable for the Commanders. Like Scizor into
yeah,
Tyranitar, brutal. Not good for
yeah.
Tyranitar. Really
No,
not good. And you can't even really protect it with the
and
Togetic.
Togetic.
Yeah, because
Yeah, the
Scizor will
Togetic
destroy that
gets
Pokemon.
like obliterated by the bullet punch.
Yep, yep, exactly. And then if you look at Raikou, I mean, it's gonna have a
And
field day.
Nidoking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nidoking similarly is it like you have two Pokemon that just that completely shut down this Tyranitar Togetic combo, which is usually a staple for the Commanders. And then Raikou, on the other hand, that you're gonna have a field day with Skarmory, Suicune, and Togetic as well. Like no problems whatsoever. And then even you could throw Scalds at Tyranitar if you do get that rain going. Now, of course, that's where the weather battle factor really does come into play. But even
Yeah,
Politoed, I
Raikou's
mean,
gonna
like Politoed's fine. Yeah,
kill
Raikou
it.
has it's basically unanswered, like almost completely
It's a
by this team.
Yeah, it's a field day for Raikou.
Yeah, it's very easy. You can't even. Yeah, I mean, Tyranitar with some Terra Ground is like your best bet, and that's dicey when you're looking down the barrel of a Scald from Politoed and Scald from Raikou itself
And
as well.
yeah, Wither Ball or Scalds or
Yeah, Weather
whatever
Ball,
from
Scald,
Raikou.
whatever you want. So it's dicey. I mean, even Meganium, like you can't bring that because Scizor and
There's
Nidoking.
no Pokemon on Commander's team that Raikou doesn't really cleanly answer, except Weezing, I guess,
Wheezing, yeah, pretty much. So
and Meganium maybe.
it's a huge game for Raikou. It's a huge game. I mean, I don't think it's a huge game for Houndoom, but Houndoom might have to make a debut. I wouldn't even like. I don't know. Do you bring like Apom? Like Fake Out is super
For fake
valuable.
out.
Like it's super valuable in this matchup. Like because you're getting one shot if you
Yeah,
don't
kind of.
fake out in a lot of situations here. So I might be. You
But
could
it's like,
pay to see.
who are you protecting with fake out exactly? You
Yeah,
know,
it's tough. I don't know because you don't
because
really
you
have.
can't shut down weather without like you kind of need Houndoom to not be in rain.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you have
and
Wheezing.
that's like the only one I would think of. Maybe you have Wheezing, but like you can't fake out
No,
for
you can't fake
Wheezing.
out
You
for
know,
Wheezing. That's true. I
you
think.
have to.
I think
You have to do
over.
maybe
I think
maybe like
overall.
lead Wheezing to keep them out of the rain, and then you switch into
Yes.
Tyranitar. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think overall the sand is a lot less important for the Coronet Commanders to function. Is more just keeping the rain from happening for
Yeah,
the Singing in the Rain squad, and so you know, I I've looked at the Singing in the Rain team a lot because I prepped my team for it, and I helped Greenlee prep for it as well. And I gotta say, like this combo, Raikou, Scizor, Nidoking, Polishit, I mean that core four is so menacing. There's just it's almost impossible to find a Pokemon that does well against all of them. They cover each other
yeah.
so beautifully. And I mean, man, I don't know. It's just tough. It's just really tough, and it feels like no matter what the matchup, that core is really nice. Like, this team, the more and more I think about it, is just it's nasty. But no, I think keeping the rain away is more important than getting the sand up. And so in that sense, I think Wheezing is actually pretty important because it's really gonna
Mhm.
limit the ability. I mean, obviously you can rain dance, but if you're resorting to rain dance, it's not as good. So I wouldn't even hate like some kind of wheezing plus like you need immediate pressure. So it's like maybe you need wheezing plus Tyranitar, maybe you need wheezing plus Houndoom because with the right Terra, Tyranitar can make it work into most Pokemon if you figure out a
Things
good one. And then Houndoom
Tyranitar,
similarly.
it doesn't have natural stab against anything like for super effective. It's just like it's neutral into everything. The rock and the dark.
Yeah,
There's nothing that it hits for super effective here. I think probably you want
yeah,
like Houndoom with the defensive Terra, if anything.
yeah. I
Maybe
could see
you
that.
get like the flamethrowers onto Scizor. You can yeah, I mean you can be hitting things for some strong super or just like neutral stab
Strong
with Dark
neutral.
Pulse.
Yeah.
But yeah, Houndoom is also kind of frail, so it goes down pretty quickly, like in neutral as well.
And
It's tough. It's tough to
Wheezing,
make Houndoom work.
if Scizor or Politoed's your lead, like I mean, Wheezing can get bodied by Scizor. That's where I think you need Houndoom to hopefully fill that gap. That's a lead. Maybe that I'm sure we could think about more, but we do want to keep moving. But yeah, any final thoughts? I'll say one
Yeah,
final thought. I'll say one final thought. I think even like I don't think you have to do it for Singing in the Rain, but the other thing you have to think about, I mean, there is even Perish. Like that's also terrifying. Now I do think Wheezing
yeah.
helps with that too. I think Wheezing's like the more I think about it, Wheezing's
It's a
pretty
must
important.
bring. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of a must lead.
Oh,
A
yeah,
lot of
it kind of is.
it's because like any strategy that like the Singing in the Rain team is going to employ, like Weezing counters, the drizzle and the Perish trap. So yeah, you
Yeah, I
basically
think
have to lead it. You
Skarmory
also you can
maybe
keep in mind the Weezing can shut down the Technician from Scizor, making it a lot less powerful with Bullet Punch. So that's
true.
something to remember.
Yeah, yeah. I think Singing in the Rain has very powerful abilities. And so turning them off, very, very good. Because conversely, the
And
Cornet
sheer force
commanders,
Nidoking.
yeah, and Sheer Force King. Like, the commanders don't need their abilities nearly as much as Singing in the
Yeah.
Rain does. So I can see that. I think Skarmory is also another good option because at least Skarmory can, like, kind of shut down Scizor, but it's like if you're just
It
shutting
definitely
down
wins against
Scizor,
Scizor.
but it doesn't win against anything else, you know, like it's
No, it
kind of
doesn't.
okay
I
to
mean, it doesn't.
Nidoking. It's probably
It's
fine
like
to
fine against
Nidoking.
everything else except for Raikou.
Raikou
Like
destroys
that's
it.
the big, like scary threat for Skarmory as Raikou.
Yeah,
That's kind of it.
Raikou
But
destroys
if
it.
you're not like if you can get through Raikou, then Skarmory just like clears everything.
Yeah, maybe it's time for the Dunsparce, like almost unironically,
Is it time?
because
Beat
I'm,
up Store
you
Power.
can one shot something, and that might be worth it. I don't know. Like
One shot Raikou with
if you one
Dunsparce and
shot
then clean it up
Raikou,
with Skarmory.
if you one shot Raikou, the problem is Raikou will kill you first because Raikou outspeeds Houndoom, so you can't even do the beat up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, last thoughts before we move on.
Apom, Houndoom, Fake Out, Raikou, Terra Ground, Terra Blast, and then you're off to the
You
races.
easily
Yeah.
beat everything with that. The Terra Ground hits Raikou
Yeah.
and Nidoking.
No, my actual final thoughts are this is surprisingly one of the few bad matchups for the Cornet Commanders. So I'm very intrigued to see what's going to go on.
Yeah,
Because I think the Cornet Commanders is generally like a really good team that matches well to almost everything else. But we are starting, we saw it in the last matchup, it didn't do so well against Umbreon's Bash, and now, if that trend continues with this team, it could be devastating. It could be the fall of the
yeah.
of the
The
Commanders,
Commanders. I mean, luckily they have a
the
couple of
rise and fall.
wins. They have a couple of wins under their belt, so they're not looking at like some 0-3 kind of situation. But yeah, it doesn't feel great to lose two in a row either. But yeah, this is a really rough matchup. I think they have to hope they either figure out something crazy here or they don't get Singing in the Rain in their bracket, their side of the bracket, because they can
They
make a
they
playoff run.
They
But
got to bring Houndoom this time. They got to. This is the week for Houndoom's debut, and I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, next matchup. What do we got? It is your team,
Umbreon. Yeah.
Black Death.
And I
Oh, look,
drew
two
both of
of
these
both
logos.
logos. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Death,
I
the
I
Umbreon's
drew that
Reunion
one
Bash.
for Umbreon's reunion bash just now. Um, just like earlier tonight. And I think it's pretty nice. He's holding a Coors Light. You can't tell in the low res, but there it is.
Yeah, you could post it in
Um,
general. You
I
want-
should post it in general.
yeah.
I refined it a little bit, not much. But anyway, yeah, so this is my match with James. I actually think this is one of my slightly better matchups. It's not like amazing or anything. Fiery Wrath is like dangerous for at least two of my Pokemon are weak to
Mm-hmm.
it naturally, but I do think like I threaten big damage into his team. It's really just like Feraligatr and Lantern are the only Pokemon that like resist the Murkrow Typhlosion eruption, and I also this is like one of those rare matches where Sneasel actually has been doing a lot of work for me, at least in my practice. A
Hmm.
triple axle does a great amount of damage to Moltres. Um, I have like a few Pokemon that I think like can be bulky enough to withstand the fiery wraths, specifically in like Mantine and like any if I terastallize Celebi, it can be pretty good. The Murkrow thankfully is resistant. It like resists the fiery wrath by default. It's actually kind of hard for James to just like obliterate my Murkrow like some teams can.
Yeah,
It's
it's true.
nice. It gets to stick around long enough to support my team. Um, the Heracross doesn't care about Fiery Wrath. Yeah, the Fiery Wrath just isn't like as good into my team as it is into others.
Hmm.
It's just going to be a matter of positioning, and I'm not even that worried about Intimidate either, because I've got like inner focus on Sneasel, and then like some special attackers and Typhlosion and Celebi and Vileplume. It's really just Heracross that would be worried about Intimidate, and it's not even that big of a deal because once I get like guts up, like it doesn't hold me back that much. Um, so yeah, and I can kind of get around the fake out because if I bring Sneasel in front of Hitmontop, I can outspeed it and get my own fake out in. So yeah, I think I'm slightly favored, but it's not great because Feraligatr is probably my biggest problem. That like I can't none of my Pokemon like cleanly deal with it except like Celebi and Vileplume, but not even that much. I don't know. Uh, like probably Celebi is my best Feraligatr answer, but it is tough because Celebi doesn't answer the rest of the team as well. Like so, yeah, like Umbreon and Moltres threaten Celebi, and even Espeon if you give it like the right moves. I don't know. Espeon doesn't have that wide of a move pool, so yeah,
Yeah,
not that worried about Espeon.
Celebi can just get crunched by Feraligatr. That's the danger, I think, there. But
Yeah, that too.
I think there are a couple interesting things here. Like, yeah, this is probably one of the worst matchups to just press Fiery Wrath. Like, it's obviously quite good into Typhlosion, but it's pretty bad into, like, literally everything else. Celebi, yeah, it's decent there, too. But overall, pretty bad matchup for Fiery Wrath. Again, I think this is, like, the worst Espeon matchup I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So trash into everything. I mean, I
except
can't.
Heracross.
Even Heracross. I
Even
mean,
Heracross threatens it with
you die
one.
in one hit, but it does kill Heracross in one hit, so it's kind of a. But you are faster on Espeon, so maybe it's okay. It's good versus Vileplume too, but yeah, overall, not a great Espeon time. I do think Sneasel kind of just beats Hitmontop. You wouldn't think so because of the type matchup, but Sneasel loves to have Focus Sash, so it's going to live anyway. And you get to ignore Fake Out and you get to ignore Intimidate with the inner focus on Sneasel, so it's like, it kind of feels. I think it feels pretty okay to like have Sneasel because like you can fake out Hitmontop, but he can't fake out you. So that is I mean
Yeah,
that's good. So I like that,
exactly.
and then you're not getting you because of the sash. Like I don't know, Sneasel overall, yeah, it looks good into that. I do think it's interesting. Feraligatr might be a champ again for the bash, which is pretty fun. We saw Feraligatr beat its bad type matchup against Meganium in week 3. Now it has its good matchup in Typhlosion. So yeah, looking to see for Alligator probably pop off. Moltres might have to figure out, like, the thing is, Moltres doesn't have good options other than Fiery Wrath. So that kind of leaves you in a weird spot with Moltres, which is like, you have to
Yeah, it's like
bring
it's
it.
Fiery Wrath or it's like Air Slash, and the Air Slash
Yeah.
deals with Celebi and Vileplume and Heracross. So like Heracross is threatened most by Moltres Air Slash more than anything
More
else.
than anything else, yeah. So, I mean, like, but you have to bring Moltres, but now Moltres is playing, like, more of a positioning game than trying to, like, carry your team, which is a little bit, yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. It's like you're playing a little bit more towards for Alligator. So yeah, I think it could be interesting. I think it's going to be a tougher one for the Bash. I mean, the Bash, again, like I said, kind of in the intro, really looking to win this game, could solidify themselves as one of the top contenders. Meanwhile, your team climbing out of that 2-game deficit you started the season with definitely can do it here. I think a big opportunity to get yourself 2-2 and get up those ranks, because matchup should be good. I mean, let's not forget about the sunny day eruption in the room. you know, uh,
Yeah, that's you
it's
can never forget that
it's pretty
because
good overall here.
pretty good. I
Yeah,
mean, there's really no lead on James's team other than for Alligator Lantern. There's no lead that he can do that's not going to get at least one of their Pokemon get like pretty wrecked
yeah. I mean,
by
have
by
to be
the
like
eruption.
for yeah, like you said, it
You
has to be
have to
the
go
for
like for
alligator
Alligator
lantern.
Lantern,
Yeah, which
and you
is
don't really want to be in that position.
yeah, no, probably not. So definitely a tricky one. Maybe we'll see Gligar. I don't know why,
Maybe we'll see Gligar.
but maybe we'll see it. You don't have an ice move to hit it with, so there's that.
It's not, but I do
You
though.
do
I
have
have
Sneasel.
Sneasel
That's true.
with triple axle, so
Okay, no Gligar.
no Gligar. This
Just
is not the Gligar debut.
I think is for the Umbreon's Bash, they need to figure out a way to put for Alligator in a position to succeed, and but it can.
Maybe
It
it's time. Maybe it's time for Bayleaf to come with for Alligator to set Swamp.
oh, that would be not terrible. It's probably bad.
I don't remember enough about Swamp
It
to
cuts
say
your
whether
speed
that
to
would be.
1/4, so it does completely eliminate Tailwind as a factor.
That's true, and I don't
Like,
have a trick remote or anything, so
yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty funny if you do it. Is Umbreon
yeah,
good?
you do like Terra Water Bayleaf, and then you can survive my eruption and set Swamp.
Is the namesake Pokemon Umbreon, like, is it good? I think it could actually be kind of good. I mean, Heracross kind of screws you up, but you are immune to Murkrow stuff. You can yawn, just yawn and chill. I don't know. I could see that. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think Murkrow is really going to be doing like the whole status thing though this time
No,
around the way
probably
that I did
more like
once.
Tailwinds
It's
and
more
Sun.
like Tailwind and Sunny Day.
Yep.
I'm not even really going to bring Quash because I don't need it. It's not a Trick Room team.
Yeah, I mean, it's just taunt.
So
You would want to taunt the Umbreon in a lot of situations. But I
yeah,
think
but I
overall,
can't.
Sneasel serves you a little bit better here.
Yeah,
Because you could even taunt Moltres. Like, Moltres also, like, you would want to taunt for those nasty
nasty
plots.
spots.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
All right, let us move on to the next matchup. We got two more to talk about. This one is mine versus the Sunny Shore Wakes. Yeah, pretty interesting one. I think that I'm pretty well favored overall. I could talk about it a little. I think for one thing, I think on the surface, like, Azumarill Ampharos answers Ho-Oh pretty well, and, like, obviously Ho-Oh is one of my best Pokemon. But on the other side of the Ho-Oh is the Blossom, which is quite good into
Right.
Azumarill Ampharos. So you have a little bit of a positioning battle there. And here's the thing: we saw Vileplume absolutely pop off versus the Wakes last week. I'm hoping that Blossom can fill a similar niche. Like, obviously, Blossom maybe not obviously, but Blossom does not have quite as good a matchup, mostly because it lacks that poison typing, which helps you deal with the Granbulls and the Azumarils of the world. So Blossom will struggle a little there, but I think overall, like Blossom just has this really good matchup for similar reasons. Like I just think the Wakes struggle with grass types. It's like basically Magcargo. Like Venusaur is also a pretty good option with the poison attacks, which Vileplume could beat Venusaur because it matched the typing a little bit and had Assault Vest. Blossom doesn't really do quite the same thing. So yeah, Blossom's like gonna be Vileplume light, but then backed up by Ho-Oh and with the support of
hard for you to
Smeargle.
set Sun to do like the weather ball thing for the Venusaur matchup is the only problem.
Yes, that's true.
You don't
Venusaur
have the
takes
poison
advantage of
typing to
Sun.
resist the sludge bombs
Yeah,
to give you neutral.
exactly. So I do think that is a bit of a problem. Like Blossom doesn't carry as hard as Vileplume does, but with the support of Ho-Oh and Smeargle, it's like pretty dang good. One thing about the Porygon and Smeargle matchup is it's quite nice for Smeargle because I mean Smeargle could just spore Porygon at any time. You're never running those safety goggles, and you could run Terra Grass, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's pretty free.
But like you don't even have to taunt. Basically, it's nice because Smeargle can just use Spore, which it already wants to use, and not have to waste a move slot on taunt, and still deals with Porygon just as well. So that's pretty nice. I mean, yeah, you get the full run of moves to stop Trick Room. Tons of options there, and then I like as far as the Trick Room mode of the Wakes, which is kind of like the main mode. The Pokemon aren't that slow. Like Octillery and Golem will underspeed Azumarill and Ampharos and Granbull. So, like, even in a Trick Room, like, the only one that's consistently going first is Magcargo, and that's even a speed tie with Slowking, and also Slowking's a great matchup into Magcargo, so you don't even really have a comfortable Trick Room mode. It's almost like I just don't... Like, I have run a couple practice matches, and I feel like... it's hard. It's really hard for the Wakes. I think it's really hard for the Wakes in this.
I think the best thing the Wakes can really do is lean hard into Azumarill and maybe Magcargo and Trick Room with like the Aqua Jet and the Power Gem are like your best ways to deal with like all the ground types, and then of course Ho-Oh just like would go down immediately to one Power Gem. That's like the best thing I can think of, and then I don't even know what Ampharos does to you, does for you. Like Ampharos helps with Ho-Oh and Slowking and Octillery. Maybe like Ampharos is your Slowking answer because like Venusaur dies to the Psychic. You know, it's a Azumarill isn't that good into it, and Magcargo just also dies. Magcargo is like screwed against Slowking. So yeah, you kind of need Ampharos for the Slowking. You need Azumarill and Magcargo for like everything else.
Yeah, both teams have Fire, Water, Grass cores. I just think
and
overall my team has a little better one.
Granbull. You have Intimidate with Granbull. Definitely you're going to want that because, you know, I brought Stantler against your team just because of Intimidate because you're like almost all physical attackers.
I'm pretty heavily on the physical side, yeah.
You have like two special attackers and they don't see that much. Well, Blossom doesn't see that much use. Slowking for sure is always going to be popping off. You don't really have to worry about Octillery that much anyway, but yeah. It's all the physical attackers. Donphan, Pilswine, Golem, and Ho-Oh.
You are probably right about the Azumarill, though. Like, the Azumarill can come out and be a pretty big threat against a lot of things. Like, it's really just Blossom that is the best counter, and if Terra Steel, then you're kind of okay. I mean, Terra Steel's dicey with how many ground types they have, and with Ho-Oh.
Honestly,
so you might
even just go
for
Terra
like
Water for the extra damage.
Yeah,
like a Terra Water Choice Band, huge power, Aqua Jet does a lot for this matchup.
Yeah. Definitely something to consider. So, I think, but I think it's a good matchup because I think ultimately I can kind of bring standard or like close to standard. Not that my team really has a standard because I tend to mix my. I mean, part of the value of my team is its versatility, so I don't have a clear standard, but I could go a little more standard. Like I could pick my top 6 Pokemon here. I mean, other than
I think the
Miltank,
closest
swap
thing
out
you have to
Miltank, but
standard is like Slowking Golem Trick Room mode.
that's true. I have been
That
going that
that
a
tends to
lot.
happen.
That probably won't be this time though. This will be a little
Yeah,
more like Ho-Oh Smeargle Blossom like Sunny Day type mode. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Which the thing is, I feel like that is the standard that I want. It's just a lot of my matchups that hasn't been favorable. So
yeah,
like this is where I can go sort of like when I'm picking Ho-Oh Smeargle Blossom, and I'm picking 3 out of my top 4 picks. You know, that's good. I feel like that means I have a good matchup. You know, I don't have to dig as deep as Golem and Slowking.
yeah.
Um,
It's true.
so yeah, and I think even Slowking, like Slowking, is also anti Trick Room. Like I don't. It doesn't have to be Trick Room with Golems. Like Slowking can be just like the anti Trick. Like he sits here, uses Imprison, and just throws Scalds at like Mad Cargo, and then your Mad Cargo Trick Room mode is totally obliterated by Slowking. You know, so like I think there's that too. Um,
Yeah, like the only Slowking answer is Ampharos, and so that's pretty tough.
But yeah, we haven't seen Granbull get going for the Wakes yet. I do think this could be, like you said, a good time to see that. I would love to see Granbull get a little bit more done as the second pick. Well, you know, Azumarill and Granbull both second picks, I guess. But I think Granbull has more potential than we've seen from it, and this could be a
Yeah,
week
I
to show
agree.
it. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's move on. Any last thoughts on this one?
No, no, I think I'm good. I think it's time to give Artillery a rest on the bench. This is going
Yeah.
to be a good match.
All right, finally, the scrappy fight at the bottom. We got the Sinnoh Kingdras, 0-3, and the scrambled eggs, or the eggs parentheses scrambled, however you prefer, 1 and 2.
Scrambled Egg is the name of the
Scrambled
team.
egg, my bad. Scrambled egg, scrambled egg.
Yeah.
Um, this is gonna be an interesting one. I do think this matchup for scrambled egg is kind of similar to what we saw with the other rain teams, like back-to-back rain teams, right? So kind of brutal for Entei. Doesn't love it. Um, I'll talk a little bit about it just out the gate. I think Lugia overall kind of like meh, which is not great because you kind of want Lugia to be like doing a lot for you. The good news is you're good versus Crobat,
Yeah,
which I guess is like nice. I think Fortress kind of kicks ass.
you're good versus Executor too.
Like if you get the rain up, rain is pretty like you wouldn't think it, but it's pretty devastating for a scrambled egg. I think to have rain going because once Fortress comes out, I mean it's all physical on the scrambled egg side, and you get one iron defense on Fortress. Like if at any point Fortress presses iron defense, like literally like one time, it's
Yeah,
so hard for the egg to deal with that because they don't have
and
like
yeah, they don't
special
have a special
attackers.
attacker that can even hit Fortress for neutral. Executor is like the only one.
Yeah, and so Fortress, I think, is key. The rain is so good for Kingdra. Kingdra can like do massive damage with like Muddy Water into both the Steelix and Sudowoodo options. I think Trick Room's pretty important for the egg, and I do think they should be able to get it. That's one weakness of the Kingdras is they don't offer like immediate pressure. It's really hard for them to get damage out on turn one. Just because the strongest attacker is Kingdra, and Kingdra needs the rain to really hit very hard and go quickly. Even Kangaskhan, we've seen to use the last resort, you gotta use your fake out first. I guess you could run no fake out and just run last resort. Would that work? I guess you could do that. But yeah, still
Yeah,
point being, it's a little hard for the Kingdras to get out immediate damage, which means that it's hard to kill the Trick Room user, whether it be Executor or Girafarig. I'm a little bit more of a Girafarig fan overall, just because Lugia with a flying moves hits Executor. That's basically the only reason, but I think it's a good enough reason. That and Fortress with the bug type moves hits
yeah,
Executor as
plunge.
well. So like,
You don't want to have to be terrestrializing your Executor,
and it's
like
not
just to, and you
yeah.
don't need to. You don't need Trick Room really that much, and you're not supplying enough damage.
Yeah, Executor doesn't hit anything for super effective, so it's like you may as well
Yeah.
just go with Giraffe Rig if you're gonna go in. I do think, um, yeah, right. Entei and Ursaring and Steelix, and even Sudowoodo, like man, they can't deal with Fortress. I'm so scared about this Fortress. But Sudowoodo, on the other hand, for a Pokemon that the Sinnoh Kingdras need to be scared of, Sudowoodo like absolutely slaps against a lot of this
Yeah.
stuff. You can't. I mean, it'll resist the Kangaskhan stuff. It can nearly one shot Lugia. Can kill Zaytu. If it weren't for multi scale, it could one shot Lugia. So yeah, it does big damage on Lugia. It can do big damage on Jumpluff. It beats Kangaskhan in the 1v1. It really only struggles with Fortress, which again is like Fortress is just a
But yeah,
problem.
what Chris has to keep in mind is that like, so you oftentimes want to use like Terra Fire in front of something like Entei, like we saw with your game. Terra Fire Fortress against Ho-Oh is what he went with. He probably do the same thing here, but then that leaves you very very vulnerable to Sudowoodo.
It's true, but there are other Terras. I mean, there's Terra Water for one, could be pretty powerful. Of course,
Yeah,
that does
I would definitely Terra Water this time
it
around.
leaves you vulnerable to Executor, but it
But you're not that worried about Executor. You've got Lunge.
yeah. So it's like it's a little bit meh. I do think Crobat could be pretty strong here. Like we haven't really seen. I don't have we seen the egg go for the Tailwind Sun mode? I don't think we've seen it yet. Um,
Not really.
and
Well, didn't we see it
this
in the first
we
match
might have
a
seen
little
it
bit?
in
We
week
didn't see Tailwind,
one.
did we?
I don't know if we saw Tailwind, but we might have seen Sunny Day. I'm not
We
100%,
definitely
but
saw like Crobat Entei. I think it was against Robin
yeah.
in Team
Oh,
One or
other thing
Week
about
One.
Sudowoodo, I forgot to mention about Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo also has Sucker Punch, which is obviously great versus the Lugia as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But no, yeah. But going back to Crobat, I think Crobat like I think the Sun mode's good because you definitely don't want rain. It's almost more about denying the rain than it is about setting the
Yeah,
sun. And like the only downside of Crobat is like yeah, Lugia like kills you, and Zaytu also kills you. And you don't have a lot of offensive pressure against anything other than Jumpluff, and I don't think Jumpluff's coming. So
yeah,
even taunting Fortress is meaningful, to be
that's
honest.
true. Like Crobat is really just a support, especially in this matchup.
Yes,
Um,
I think Crobat is a must bring when it's both capable of supporting and attacking. In this case, it can only support, which makes it a little
I,
bit like a maybe, but I do think it's a good support. I mean, it's obviously
I still think it's worth bringing for that reason.
yeah, getting the sun up, getting the
Getting this up
tailwind.
to enable Entei and also deny rain is going to be important because Entei is your only fortress answer. It's the only thing that can do it.
Yeah, so I can see Crobat Entei could go together and try to run this game. The only thing is, I think Crobat Entei, while it does answer Fortress, does it answer Lugia King Kangaskhan? And the answer
Not so
is
much, but
not so much. Yeah.
a little bit. I mean, you've got like when you set Sun, your Sacred Fire into Lugia is going to be pretty good. It's like one of the best things you can do. It's not as good as Sudowoodo, but if
it's
you
good.
are worried about Fortress,
It's maybe good
um,
enough, and like
it's
even
maybe good enough, and it
maybe good
works. And
enough.
I don't even know that Lugia is supplying enough damage to like offset it. You know?
Yeah, you could even do some crazy like Terra Fairy, Terra Blast Entei. I wouldn't hate that into Kingdra because like
True.
then you end up with at least a decent matchup into everything. Because like the Sacred Fire actually is very good into Kangaskhan with a 50% chance to burn if you do manage to get that burn. Plus Entei doesn't care about fake out, cannot get faked out by Kangaskhan due to inner focus.
True.
So I think Entei actually pretty good versus Kangaskhan. And if you get that burn, it shuts down Kangaskhan immediately. So, yeah, I think that's good. I think the other option would be either your Executor or Giraffe Rig, whatever Trick Room setter you so choose. I slightly favor Giraffe Rig, but I think both are valid. Pick one of
I think
those.
putting
Put it with
like
Sudowoodo
Terra
and
Ghost.
hope that you get a favorable lead because if you don't, that lead doesn't work out so well. But it,
You want to put Terra
yeah,
Ghost on something. I don't know if you put it on Entei or Ursaring or what, but you want to put Terra Ghost on something to deny the last resort. Maybe you put it on Entei.
yeah, it's true because if Kangaskhan if Kangaskhan is relying on Last Resort to do damage, then a Terra Ghost makes it useless entirely. So that is pretty good. I wouldn't hate it on like Sudowoodo either, because then you can like, then you don't get faked out, which is nice. Because Sudowoodo, I think, can carry your team
Yeah,
low
I mean,
key.
Sudowoodo has sturdy and it's rock type anyway. Well, it doesn't. You're not going to be using sturdy, but yeah,
I mean, you
you're at
mostly
least going to
want.
resist.
You could use Sturdy, but that's why you would want. I mean, like, yeah, you want to avoid the fake out so that you can still. So that you can't break your Sturdy. You know what I mean? Like, that's important. So you can also just protect, though. You don't need to Terra Ghost for
Yeah.
that. You really don't need to Terra Ghost for that. I think Sturdy is like, yeah, Rockhead is good. Obviously, for the big head smash without the recoil. But honestly, do you need to avoid the recoil that bad when you could just like if you kill Lugia with a rock smash or you kill Kingdra with a head smash? I think you're fine to take the recoil. Like, I think it's okay. But yeah,
Maybe it's time. Like I'm considering like on Chris's end, like what I might do differently than normal. Like I feel like jump bluff might be pretty good. I think like redirection against Greenlee's team is going to be kind of valuable, even though jump bluff kind of gets screwed by anything you want to redirect. I don't know,
yeah.
but just because Greenlee doesn't really have any spread moves here.
I mean, I might like it more than Zaytu, for example. Also,
Yeah,
I did like thinking about it a little bit more. Is Steelix maybe one of the better options for Fortress? Probably not, because if you're both Iron Defense body pressing, Steelix loses
yeah, I was
out.
thinking about that earlier too. Like Steelix loses in that scenario because you're weak to the body press from Fortress, while Fortress is neutral to it. So
Yeah, so I don't love that. I don't love that. I don't think Shuckle has anything to do. This is weirdly probably one of the best Snubble matches we'll ever see, and it still won't come.
I don't see Snubble doing anything here. Like who are you intimidating?
You're
Kangaskhan?
not intimidating anyone, but you are pressing play rough onto Kingdra, I guess. I don't know, maybe not.
No.
No.
The only use of Snubble is intimidate, and so you're really gonna just use that for like a physical team.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Maybe against
intimidate,
your
and
team.
it's an intimidate, and it's an 80 power, 30 speed trick room attacker. Don't forget.
True.
80 attack. Will you throw a choice band on that thing? He gonna come out and slap.
Yeah, watch out.
He's gonna die in one hit, but he's gonna slap you first. Yeah,
We have
okay.
Bramble at home.
Yeah. All right.
Alright.
We have done it. We have looked at all the matchups. We've considered them. We've analyzed them. We've thought about them.
We've looked
talked about
ahead.
them. We've looked at, yeah. We've accomplished our goal for today. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Thanks for listening in, watching, whatever. However you prefer to enjoy the content. I hope everyone's enjoying the Gen 2 Draft League. Really looking forward to these exciting Week 4 matchups. I mean, Week 4, it's a pivotal moment. It's the right in the middle point of the league. And it's going to set the tone for the rankings going into those last 3 weeks. Of course, everyone makes playoffs, so it's just seeding. It's all practice. But we take it serious. We try to win. We try to have a good time. Any closing thoughts, Carter, before we leave our audience until next week?
Yeah, I am really excited for this matchup for this week. I'm gonna do a lot of practice here, like I always do, but I haven't gotten much practicing yet. But it's always a very fun part of my week is preparing for these matchups. It's like every time I finish one, I'm just like, oh, I can't wait till next week. I can't wait till the next one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sometimes I wish there was more to do for the Pokemon League.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point that I'm looking at Gen 4 draft theory already, but let's not talk
Oh
about
damn.
that. No, mostly just the Gen 3. But
Gen 3 is going to be nuts. I mean, it's going to be kind of a lot of whiplash going from Gen 2 to Gen 3 because this is like, it's going from the lowest power level format possible to the highest, I think.
Oh, definitely. We could make a whole maybe we should. Make a whole video talking about Gen 3. I think it'd be. I
Yeah,
think we could just have the Gen 3 discussion video where we
we
just
could.
like
We could
talk about the
by
implications.
the end of this season.
But that is for another time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me, Carter, on the content, and we will catch you all soon. And goodbye.
Bye bye.